friends, hope you guys are all doing well. Today I wanted to pop on here and teach you guys some knife skills. Knife skills are the #1 requested video I get, okay? It's kind of hard to do when it's not in person because there's a lot that goes into it, but I'm gonna try to show you all the basics today and how to tackle some things such as an apple, the tricky mango, which nobody ever knows how to cut, including my husband, who wants to eat them daily, but makes me peel them and cut them for him every day. An onion, the best way to tackle an onion, and then different types of slices using a cucumber, okay? And we're gonna talk about knives in general, okay? So let's jump right into it. Most people think that you need an entire block of knives, right? So when you register for your wedding or when you have a new home or you think you need some new knives, you go for the big block because you just think it's the biggest deal or most bang for your buck and you get the most knives. You don't need all those knives. I'm telling you right now, Global sells a set of 3 knives, 1 chef's knife, one of these smaller kinds of chef's knives, and then a small paring knife. That's really all you need. I would say 3 knives maximum, 3 different types of knives. Even the paring knife, I don't even use that often. I'll use it to like slice an apple for like a snack, but when I'm cooking in the kitchen, all I'm using is a chef knife. So this one happens to be Schmidt Brothers. I love this one. These are all linked on my Amazon storefronts. You guys can check that out down below. I've linked it. All right, so this is Schmidt Brothers, really, really nice. I love the wood color. Nice artisan knives. This is another Schmidt Brothers, sort of a different style. See the difference? But they're both really great. I like this top one more, so if you're going for one or the other, I like this top one. And I like when this bottom edge is kind of rounded, you see? And it's also nice and long. And the reason why I like it when it's rounded is because that's how you do that rocking motion, okay? Which we're gonna get to in a little bit. So a chef's knife, whether it's 7 inches or 8 inches, I would say this is the one knife you really, truly need, okay? Here's another chef's knife, just like the Schmidt Brothers. Here's another one, very similar, but this one is by Material. They have some beautiful knives. And that set, actually, they sent it to me, and it came with this little paring knife, which, again, I'll use for like a snack or something, but not when I'm cooking in the kitchen for real. When I'm really cooking, it's one of these guys, all right? Or this one. This is also a great chef's knife, the Global one. All right, so that's really all you need. You need a good chef's knife at 7 to 8 inches. And then if you want an extra one, you could get a paring knife or even a smaller version of the chef's knife, which is this guy. But really, the chef's knife is all you really need, and it doesn't need to be that expensive, doesn't need to be that fancy. You just need one, okay? Trust me, get one. You'll have it forever. The Global ones I've had since Mike and I got married, which is almost 8 years, all right? So they last a really long time. Now, maintenance. I try not to dishwash them, especially if it has a wooden handle. I never stick them in the dishwasher. Do not do that. If it does have a metal handle, like the Global ones, I do put those in the dishwasher, even though dishwasher is not the best thing for knives. So try to not do that. I'm just lazy and they end up in there. But it's fine because it still lasted this long and they work. All right, but you gotta keep your knives sharp, otherwise they're good for nothing. All right, so they come with, the Schmidt Brothers one comes with this sharpener, if you get the set, or you can just purchase it separately. This is the Wusthof sharpener. And when you think of sharpening knives, you think of like that stone that you have to wet and you have to like go at a perfect angle and like glide it, and no one ever knows what to do there. That's too complicated for the busy person and the home chef. So they invented things like this, which is so simple. So it has a fine and a coarse guide there. You see that? And all you're gonna do, you can do this like once a week or every time you cook. If you really want a sharp knife, you are more likely to cut yourself on a dull knife than a sharp knife because you slip and you're sawing and you're more likely to hurt yourself with a dull knife, I promise you. So keep your knives sharp to keep them away from your kids. Okay, so all you're gonna do here, you're gonna take your knife, you're gonna start with the bottom end of it, okay, way at the end, and you just glide your knife through that little groove. And this is the coarse one you're starting with. So that's really gonna fine tune that whole bottom. So from end to tip, end to tip. Go through it a few times until it feels somewhat smooth, until it glides through easily. And then you're gonna fine tune it even more by going through the fine groove. Boom, that's the whole thing, okay? Then I just take this, just give it a little wipe down carefully, just in case there's any like little shavings of knife on here, which you'll see. And that's the whole thing. This thing is amazing, it lasts you forever. And you have knives that stay sharp all the time. You just gotta do that like once a week and it takes 2 seconds and it makes cooking and cutting so much more enjoyable, okay? So again, all these things are linked in my Amazon shop down below. Check it out. All right, shall we get into some knife skills? Let's do it, you guys, okay? Let's start with something simple, an apple, okay? Lots of different ways that you can cut an apple, all right? So let's say I just wanna cut some slices. So I'm just gonna cut this off like that, okay? Just cut off one little section of it. All right, you always wanna put your open side or cut side down so you have a nice base. You never want to cut anything when it's like wobbling around like that and it's not sturdy. If for some reason you didn't want to cut it this way, you would cut off like a little sliver to create that flat surface, that flat base, so that it doesn't move around on you, okay? But we're not gonna even do that. All right, now, when it comes to cutting, people are always like, how do you get such thin slices? How do you do that? It all comes down to your knuckle. I know it sounds crazy, but this portion of your knuckle right here, okay? Right there, this middle section, okay? Not the tip, not the beginning part, this middle, whatever that's called. All right, that is where your knife is resting the whole time. That is your guide, okay? That is what is telling you how thick or thin you are cutting. So check it out. So you're gonna take that's your knuckle right there, right? So your knuckle is what's guiding you. So right now my knuckle is blocking, so I'm not cutting anything. If you move your knuckle back slightly, slowly, slowly, you're guiding your knife and telling it how thick or thin. So right now I'm doing super thin slices for like a pie because I'm just guiding my knife super slowly, okay? And look how beautiful and thin these slices are, you guys. It's like paper thin, okay? So that is how you do it, and it takes practice. Trust me, I was so awkward at first. I couldn't really do it. And my dad always used to tell me, you gotta really watch your fingertips. You never wanna cut like this. You chop off your fingers. Curl your hands inwards, okay? Fingertips are always pointing back, away from the knife. And all you're doing is you're resting your knife on this knuckle. So if I move my knuckle all the way here, that's a bigger slice. You're telling the knife where to make those slices. So you see the difference between this size and that size, okay? All comes down to this little knuckle, and it just takes practice. I promise you, once you get the hang of it, it gets a lot easier. Let's say I wanted to make matchsticks for like a salad, okay? So you take your little knife, you're guiding it, slowly, fingertips are pointing inwards, remember? Okay, so to make matchsticks, you make slices like that, and then you're going to take all of your slices, or some of them at least, and you're gonna line them up, just like so, okay? Hold them together, press down. Again, fingertips are pointing in, knuckles are what it's being guided by. This way. And again, with this kind of knife, you keep the point down. Okay, the point of the knife stays down and it's just this rocking motion. Try to get used to that. All right, but that's how you make these little like matchsticks for, say, a salad or something. Okay, now let's say a recipe calls for a very small dice, and you take that again. What do you think you're gonna do? Turn it this way. It's all about like this grid. All right. And you're gonna go this direction. Again, fingertips in. And there you have it. That's how you make a teeny tiny little dice, okay? So you have your tiny little dice, then you have your thick slices, you have your super duper thin slices right here, and your matchsticks right over there. All right, let's move on. Next up, Let's just do a cucumber super fast, because that's a similar idea. So cucumber, cut off the tops and bottoms. You know, you could just, depending on what you want to do, let's say I want to make just little half moons. Let's say the kids want a snack. Just cut it in half. I line them up together. Okay, line them both up. And all you're going to do, again, you take that knuckle and work your way through. Now, if I don't move my knuckle very much, I can make super duper thin slices. If I do move my knuckle a little bit more, again, your knuckle is the guide, okay? So then you get bigger slices, all right? That is how to cut a cuke, okay? That's it. It's so much fun to cut. I'm telling you guys, once you learn how to do it, you just gotta practice, so it becomes kind of second nature. And then once that happens, I'm telling you, it is so fun to cut. I love cutting things. It's really weird, but I do. Okay, mangoes are a little bit tricky. All you're gonna do here, you start off by cutting the tops and the bottoms off, okay? You could peel it with your knife. I find it easier and less wasteful. You waste less of the skin if you just use a peeler. And especially if you have a firm mango, which is the only kind of mango that we like in my house. We like it when it's very, very firm, not overly ripe. You could use a peeler to simply peel this guy. This peeler is my favorite. It's this really big peeler, super long, and I've had it for years as well. It's my absolute favorite. Okay, that's it. So we have our peeled mango. Because we cut off the tops and the bottoms, we have a nice flat surface here. That is how you always want to cut, so it doesn't wobble around on you, okay? Now, our flat surface right here. Take a look at this mango, okay? It's an oval shape. Do you see how it's an oval? Oval shape because there's a football-sized pit in the center. This is what stumps people all the time. So it's not a round, it's more of an oval. So you figure out where the oval is. At the top of the oval, that's the bottom of the oval, and these are the sides. So I know which orientation this football-shaped pit is going, okay? Because we need to try to cut around it, and it's hard to know exactly where it is. But if you could just kind of look at it and see the oval shape, you know you need to cut on either side of these ovals. So, set him up here. And it's kind of a guessing game to figure out how big that pit is. But once you do it a bunch of times also, just kind of, you get a feel for it. So you just cut off one side of it. I'm going to turn it, cut off that other big side of the pit. You could go in like a little curved, because a curved kind of motion, because you know that the pit also is curved. So if you want to do that, you could do that as well. All right, so you have these two big pieces, 1, 2. These pieces are a little smaller, curve around that football shape, right? And then I curve around this football shape, okay? And then the rest of this, either we eat it as is, or I'll just cut it like this. Any parts that I've missed, just cut it off. Okay. These obviously don't look as pretty, but you don't want to waste any of this. Okay, so if I were just making a plate of sliced mangoes, those would already be sliced and ready to go over there. Then I have these two smaller guys. I usually just cut these each in half. And then, of course, we have these two beautiful sections. These are like the nice meaty sections. You have two of them. Again, use your knuckle and keep the tip of your knife down and just do this rocking motion to get through it. And you end up with these beautiful slices of mango. And again, check it out. Perfectly cut mango. Mike, don't be jealous. Mike loves mango. He'd come home for this. Perfectly ripe too. We love it when it's not too soft. That is so good. An onion, okay, demonstrated this before. This is the best way to cut an onion. Cut off the top. Any extra peels you could just pull off. Cut off the bottom And I do recommend using a separate cutting board for your onions / garlic and your fruit, or just keep your fruit separate than all your vegetables, because especially if you have a wood board, it really keeps that onion smell and flavor in. Hard to get that out. So unless you want your fruit smelling and tasting like an onion or garlic, I'd recommend using a different cutting board, okay? Just some food for thought. All right, so you have your top and your bottom cut off. Now I just make a little slit, not very thick. You just wanna, don't go in too deep, just a little bit, tiny slit just to get through that first layer, okay? And then what I'm gonna do, take that layer and peel it off. Boop. That's it, okay? Beautiful. I usually even just do this with my knife. I just peel it. Okay, there you go. You could peel off this whole thing, but I don't want to waste that. That part's all still really good, so I'm just going to keep that on. Next, flat surface. Again, okay? Cut your onion in half. So you have a half an onion right there. Now, depending on what you're doing, okay? If I wanted to do slices, again, you would use your knuckle and slice through. Go thin or thick depending on how much you move that knuckle, remember? So I just made a super, super duper thin onion, okay? For like a salad or something. All right, now, if a recipe calls for a small dice or a large dice, I will show you how to do that. So you take your onion, you cut like a grid, okay? So you're not going all the way through. You're keeping this back section of the onion intact, okay? And you're just making a few slits in the oven. So you're holding down with the palm of your hand. Fingertips are up so you don't ever risk hurting them, okay? You're just putting pressure to keep this onion towards the cutting board. And I just made some slits going this way through the onion, but I'm not going all the way through to the end so it stays together, okay? Now, if it's a smaller dice, you make more of those lines. If it's a larger dice, you only make a few of them, okay? Then you're gonna go in the opposite direction and make slices going the opposite way. And same thing applies. If it's a larger dice, make fewer of those lines. If it's a smaller dice, make a bunch of them, okay? And then, see it's all holding together still because I didn't cut off the end of it. Then all you're gonna do, using the knuckle, always, always run your knife through this way. And you have a pretty small dice, okay? I'll show you what we got here. Okay, small dice over there. We've got these very thin slices over here. We've got our mango and we've got our slices of cucumber. All right, you guys, I hope that was helpful. Comment down below if you have any questions. Be sure to follow me at Prep and Rally on Instagram because I have lots of tips and tricks on there as well. Plus, you can reach out via DM. I am always on and always responding. I can't wait to hear from you. I hope these knife skills help you because they've helped me immensely, and I really enjoy cooking so much more because I enjoy cutting, because I know how to do it properly and I can do it quickly, efficiently, and stress-free. All right, comment, like, and subscribe to my channel, and lots more videos coming your way, you guys, right? Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time.